In this video, I'm going to give you a bunch of crypto coins that I think have potential for this bull run. And I say the word bull run there lightly because I already know there's 100 comments below saying the bull run's over, it's over, you should have sold, you round tripped again. There's a chance that that's true. But I would ask you guys, if you're commenting that, why are you even on this channel? You know, if you believe that, sell your bags and get out. You should be up if you've been watching us and many other YouTubers since 22 and 23 when we started to post content. So you should already be up. And if you're going to comment that, don't come back and buy if we do go higher. But yeah, I wanted to give a video on kind of top coins that I would buy if we do get another dip that we are experiencing right now as the time of recording. And this is for November time, but it's really not going to change in the next 2 weeks. Take the word massive potential there lightly because, you know, this is YouTube. But I just think this is now the time, October 22nd, as I film this video, to start rebalancing our portfolios, to really have a look at what we can expect. Now, again, this is if the bull run does happen, and I am still a believer if the bull run happens, because timing hasn't aligned yet. Like, we're still in Q4. Again, if we come on TradingView, we've just seen little dips that we've experienced way more before in previous cycles, in this cycle. So keep your knickers in a twist. If you don't like these kind of videos and you think the bull market's over, there's not even a point to comment because you're just wasting your breath, to be honest. But this is for the guys that still believe in the bull run, and we maybe see some potential dips in the market. Current fear and greed now is 29. Yesterday it was 33. Last week it was 37, and last month when it was a little bit more healthy-ish, it was 47. Remember, we've had year lows of 15, so we're still nowhere near the extreme fears, okay? And I would quite like an extreme feared of 15, although I'll probably lose another 300k on my portfolio on paper, but it'd be nice to see who's about it. It'd be nice to see liquidity pools start printing even more, and we can talk about that as well. I'm going to give you a lot of guys have been asking about LP positions with coins, etc. I'll give you some examples on how we take advantage of this along with our huddle portfolios. But yeah, the market still looks fine. You know, we're 108k. If I was to ask you in 23, 24, would you be happy with 108k by October? Most of you guys would probably say yes. It's just because we've been at 125, 126 that it looks bad. But again, if in doubt, zoom out. Let's get into the content. Number one is obviously going to be Bitcoin. This is not going to give you massive potential, like this word says, okay? But let's be honest. It is the daddy, and everybody should have the goal to stack sats. There is going to be a day when one Bitcoin is worth 500k. There's going to be a day when it's worth 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, and it will beat inflation since inception. The only problem with Bitcoin right now is it's fucking expensive. It's goddamn expensive to buy one Bitcoin. We all wish we had a time machine to go back in 29 and 2010 to buy this under, 10 cents. That'd be nice. So Bitcoin is going to be your daddy, and it's not something that I think you should buy, but it's something I think that you should take profits to in the bear market, not at the peak, of course, because you'll round trip that and it'll hurt more. But one sat, 0.1, 0.10 Bitcoin is always going to be worth that, okay? Yes, it will be priced in dollars, but it's something to think about. You should be stacking sats, not really looking at the dollar value in the short term. Okay, in the long term, yes, if you want to sell it, borrow against it, I think that's a strategy, because I don't think in the long term you should sell Bitcoin. I think you should use loans against it, and that's something that we can talk about in a future video. That's a little bit more niche, because in my opinion, you know, that's what people do with real estate. That's what the billionaires and millionaires, high net worth guys do with stocks. They don't sell their stocks. Elon Musk, for example, he borrows money against his stocks. You can already do this with Bitcoin, and it's just going to be evident, I think, down the line with banks, etc., that will be an option in a more safer way, rather than going to centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges, whatever. But it's an option right now. I don't think anybody should be selling their Bitcoin unless you're trying to time the top and get back in. That's a strategy. But long term, I think the goal should always be to keep your Bitcoin, okay? The next coin is SEI. I compare this against, I guess you could say, SUI, but a better play in terms of returns. Just look at the market cap, but obviously a little bit more risky. I like that we have non-2021 bull run, and I like what it did in the kind of election time, which was nice as well here with the kind of second pump in October to November. Had a great run. I think this is still a great asset to accumulate if you want to play catch up on Solana and SUI. They've got a great website. They've got great teams. They've got a popping Twitter page or X page. And it actually has all the use cases that I think people are sleeping in. A lot of our guys on our community have started to accumulate this, and they have been accumulating this really since the lows here. And again, if you look at this on the monthly, it looks bleak because, again, Bitcoin's dumping. Most of these coins are going to look bleak But again, this is about believing in this bull run and believing we still have a chance. If you don't, none of these coins are going to be really an option for you, and you should not be holding crypto anyways. The next one again is Ethereum. Okay, just like we said with Bitcoin, I think Ethereum will go up since inception. I really don't think there's another competitor. It's slow, it's clunky, but there's a lot of layer 2s now that you can transact with Ethereum. Ethereum pools are not a great option if you're doing it on the Ethereum mainnet because it'll cost you a lot of fees to do that, but there is other options where you can go in between that. And again, I'll make another video on that in the future if you guys are thinking about monetizing your Ethereum with wrapped versions, of course. Again, just like Bitcoin, stacking Ethereum is going to be like stacking Bitcoin back in 2017 and 2021. Will we all get a day when this goes to 5 figures plus 10K, maybe even 50K, somewhere down the line? I don't think anybody's going to compete with Vitalik. The guy's just too smart. There's just too much developers. And again, they've been around since inception, guys. I really, it's not as safe as Bitcoin, but it's going to be one of those coins, in my opinion, that you might regret selling unless you're trying to time the top and get back in the bear market. Okay, that's obviously a strategy to bank more Ethereum, bank more Bitcoin. But over the long term, I don't think it's going to be bad. Again, with Solana. Solana is a great coin. We've seen what it did in 2021. I'm going to compare this to SEI that we just talked about. And obviously, SUI, that I think is a better play in terms of return compared to the market cap. Currently now we're $102 billion market cap. Solana goes crazy, and Solana really starts a lot of meme coin phases. You've seen a lot of Solana meme coins go crazy, but Solana gets all that money flow going first, and that's what we've seen in 21, and that's what we've seen at the early signs and the early signs of 2024 when they started to go again and hit all-time highs. I think we might have wicked to maybe $280, maybe $300 on some exchanges, okay? So we've already beat its previous run of 2021. And we had massive lows here of under $100 where we could have bought again and doubled our cash, plus a little bit more at $250. Solana's getting expensive for some people again, but again, I think with Solana and Ethereum and Bitcoin, Solana's obviously not guaranteed to stay around as long as Ethereum and Bitcoin, but again, just treat these as playing catch-up with Ethereum and Bitcoin. The next one is XRP. I was very much against XRP's price action because you had, give or take, almost a year and a half, if not longer, of a price action of 50 cents. It was a stable coin. But then it just said, fuck you, and it went on an absolute run and pretty much 6x'd in a very short amount of time, under 2 weeks or whatever it was. 2017 was a great bull run. There was a lot of bag holders who read this all the way down that didn't get to cash out in 2021. But remember, they were sued by the SEC, and obviously XLM is another play. It's not on this list, but XLM could be another play again, like SUI compared to Solana, and like SEI compared to SUI. Again, it's all about looking what coins follow each other and what coins obviously have, momentum with Twitter posts, YouTubers, etc. And if you can ride up momentum, you can buy smaller market cap coins that mimic the same charts as the bigger market caps to make more money. And then ultimately, again, I think buying Bitcoin, buying Ethereum, banking longer term coins is really your strategy here. XRP is probably going to do well. It's already done well this bull run. Okay, let's be honest. It smashed its previous all-time high in 2017, finally, and we got to a price of, I think it was about almost $4 in kind of June, July, May of 2025. Again, not going to give you the biggest returns at 145 billion market cap, but there's a lot of good stuff with banks, etc., coming to XRP, even their stablecoin that has been rolled out in real time. The next one is Aerodrome Finance. Wasn't a fan of Aerodrome Finance because I don't like coins that much that have a limited max supply. But the reason it has a limited max supply is because this is a reward token. And every time people claim, okay, for example, on VFAT that I can show you an example on in a second, people sell. Okay, when you claim Aerodrome, there's a lot of sell pressure, and that's why you see massive drops from $2.01 all the way down to 33 cents, like 70-80% drops. Okay, that's what you're going to see in a reward token. So is this a coin you hold for long term? I don't think so, but this is a coin that you can use in liquidity pools and can use for a bull run because it's probably going to hit, again, $2 to kind of $5 in this run. So there's still good gains in this. Again, the market cap is way less than $1 billion at the time of recording. So in my opinion, this is really undervalued. You just have to be aware of the max supply. So it's always going to be infinity tokens, just like, USD, GBP, like it is a currency token. But if you come on VFAT, quick shout out, that you can monetize this on. Again, there's a pool here. I just found this with wrapped Ethereum and AERO. You can get 20% wide, which is wide. Okay, you can even make this way more wider if you want. And you can get way more safety in an asset-to-asset coin. You can compare this against Ethereum, and you can get well over 10% per month, which is crazy. And I'm not going to make any claims here, but you do the maths on a 100K portfolio with Ethereum and Aerodrome Finance. Okay, that's well over 15K per month, stacking AERO and stacking Ethereum. Is this yield going to change? No. But consistency, Aerodrome pools pay a lot. But again, it goes back to the Aerodrome token, why there's going to be a lot of sell pressure in this, because you are paired in Aero, and all the guys that are claiming, with the big portfolios here, making 10K per month, like some of our guys in our 10K Fast Track group, they're selling them to Aero. Sorry, they're selling them to Ethereum. They're selling them to Bitcoin. They're selling them to other plays. That's why you see a lot of sell pressure in coins like Aerodrome Finance, but it doesn't mean you can't run it up. The next one is two gaming coins I want to talk about. Gaming has been an absolute disaster this bull run, but I do think it still has the potential of a 2021 run, because we haven't seen that yet. We've seen early stages when Donald Trump won the election. We've seen early stages on Beam in early kind of 2024, January, February time. So this coin can move. And it can move with a $251 million market cap. You're going to have guys like Alex Becker, Elio Trades, massive YouTubers with millions of followers on YouTube and Twitter or X that are going to be pushing this hard, I believe, later down this cycle, if we still get that cycle. One of the cleanest websites I've ever seen, in my opinion. It seems like they've just changed it again. They actually do have games. They're compatible with AI now and your mobile phone. And yeah, this is just one of the kind of hub stops for gaming coins, in my opinion. So if gaming's going to run, Beam is going to get a lot of that market cap. And I think Immutable X is going to get that a lot as well. Again, 2021 was fantastic. Everything's bleeding in the gaming space, so just keep that in mind. Again, a market cap here of under $1 billion. You just have to understand how you value these and if you see a gaming run happening. If you don't see a gaming run happening, there's no point holding gaming coins. But if you do, again, it's going to completely depend on if Bitcoin has another push up, and Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Ethereum, etc. Then you'll get these tiny market cap coins go crazy. So if you believe in that, I think gaming coins are going to be great. You just have to avoid, I don't want to say scam gaming coins, there's a lot, but you just want to look for gaming coins that are undervalued, that have working products. Because you can get lucky with a crap gaming coin that doesn't have much potential, but they can still go. But time and time again, your bigger market cap gaming coins are going to run first, and that's where your safety is going to be. The next one is Zora. It's not something I'm plugging here. I do have Zora. I have a 6K Zora pool that is printing very, very good against Ethereum. I'll show you that right now. There's like a 400% pool here with Ethereum. And again, this is a super wide range. You can really stretch this as well. And again, you do the math on 422%. I would really make this a lot effing wider. Like I would scale this maybe to minus 25, and I would maybe bring this up to 25. You got 50% range here. Again, you're still making well more than 10% per month. But that is the price you pay because you're banking in Zora. What's interesting about Zora is as the markets went down, Zora in the last month has went up 60%. So all those free coins, if you guys were riding Zora, like we were, some of our guys were in our 10K Fast Track group, like Kyle, he's a big believer in this. He made a fuck ton of fees in Ethereum and Zora, and then his Zora went up 60%. So all those fees he was making every single month made him 60% more because he was banking Zora coins, and he's used that to scale into other coins. ADA, it's not one I wanted to put in this list because there's a lot of disbelievers in ADA, but we can't undermine Charles Hoskinson, the 2017 bull run, the 2021 massive bull run when we hit $3. We're at 54 or 64 right now. Keep that in mind. So we're a long way off of 2021's bull run, but this coin is still a top competitor to beat 2021's bull run, and I think it still will. Just because of Charles, he's working super, super hard. They've got a lot of good dApps, a lot of good programmers there. It's one of obviously the top coins since we know about. It's just not had a lot of pumpamentos, I guess you could say, with marketing. But I do believe word of mouth if ADA starts to go past the $1 range, I think this coin is really going to start to shine, and we'll see a price of $2.50 to $5 potentially going forward. Sui, again, we talked about Sui against Solana. This will be a better play to ride if you want a small cap coin. They've obviously had good things. And just speaking of Solana, again, Solana phone has went out. I don't know if you guys managed to get that. Some of our guys, I think 5 to 10 of our guys in our group bought the Solana phone. Apparently it's really good, but I don't want another iPhone, to be honest. But apparently there's good rewards over there. But Sui itself, again, you've got some great pools on Turbo Finance where you can get about 5 to 10% per month against USDC, so it's a great play. Sui's went from 70 odd so cents up to almost $5. Keep that in mind. We're now about halfway there. Again, if Bitcoin keeps dumping, Sui and all these other altcoins are going to get wrecked. But they could be great DCA potentials if Bitcoin starts to label out. But I do think there is some more pain in Bitcoin before a reverse rally to that 2025, early 2026 bull run that we've been expecting for a while. You've got a max supply here of 10 billion, so that's nice. But again, website looks clean, developers look clean. Obviously scaling with Web 3 and ease of Web 2, so obviously they're an established project, and I think that is great going forward. BNB. BNB's interesting. I remember my first story with BNB. I had the Trust wallet, and I just bought some BNB to make some transactions, and then it was around about $15 or so, and then it literally went over a 30x, to give or take $700 in the first bull run it had, and it's been on a rise. CZ was obviously the founder and owner of Binance. He obviously resigned. He had to pay I think he paid $4 billion in taxes. He's a very cool guy. He's obviously not involved in Binance anymore. But this coin, keep in mind, we touched prices of give or take 1.3K from $15. Those are exponential returns. Those are Tesla returns, Amazon stock returns from back in the day in a cycle, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. BNB is a little bit high right now. It's obviously an exchange token. Wouldn't recommend buying this because I believe the gains have already been made. You have to ask yourself, if you're looking for a 2 to 3x this bull run, is BNB going to get to a market cap of $500 billion? I don't think so. In the long term, potentially. Binance is a great platform. I don't use it, but I know a lot of people do it, and that's why you're seeing a lot of value, and that's why you're seeing a $150 billion market cap on BNB. Chainlink, not one that I hold. But I know a lot of guys like this. In 2021 went absolutely fantastic. This really connects a lot of coins together. It really is what it says on the tin. It's a link. It does a lot of stuff, and it does link stuff. Hence the pun there. 2021 bull run went to almost $50, give or take on a wick. We're now at 17. I think this is when we're starting to get to the safe kind of bets, the safe kind of 2 to 3 to 5x's this bull run. If we get that bull run, keep in mind, and if you don't believe that, again, we shouldn't be watching crypto videos. We should be touching grass and thinking about what we want to do with our life. But if you do believe in this bull run, some of these coins are great buying opportunities. Just keep in mind that we could go down lower. HBAR. HBAR is one of my biggest altcoins. If I check my portfolio, I think it is now being overtook by Ethereum because it's been obviously bleeding a lot, but I'm still 100 grand here in profit. It was a tough roller coaster for me to stomach the pain on HBAR when we were down in dumps at 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 cents, especially here. But I was decent in consistently, lost a lot of money on this downward because I didn't believe the bull market had finished, and that was my biggest lesson. But now we're at 17 cents, so I'm still up 100k on this. The problem with HBAR is a lot of guys that were crying buying this at 30 cents, and you're cut in half. That would suck. If you put 50, 100 grand in, even 10 grand in there, and you see it's worth less, 50% less in a short amount of time, I really feel for you. But I would say stay strong, don't sell conviction. HBAR's got a lot of partnerships with even banks in the UK now, Lloyds, for example. They're going to do a lot of cool things. So regardless of short-term price, think of long-term future. Max supply, we're almost there at 42, and the max is 50. So I do still think HBAR has a great bull run, and it's already done like a 10x since this bull run, since the peak here at 3 cents to about 30. So just keep that in mind. AI coins, you could look at Render, but I'm going to talk about BitTensor Tau because I haven't really spoken about that one. One of the biggest market caps, I think it is the biggest market cap on an AI coin. AI is obviously going to be massive. They're going to be one of the biggest runners, and they have been one of the biggest runners this bull run so far. When you come to the website, you don't really see anything, so it's almost kind of like mysterious. Like they don't do anything, which I kind of like, but it's like if you come to this, it's like the newbies like, how the fuck do I buy the coin, right? If you want to buy the coin, you obviously scroll down here. You can buy it on Binance, which again is going to boost the BNB token. You can buy it on Coinbase. You can buy it it's pretty much listed on all the top exchanges. A lot of people are scared off by the $384 per coin, and I get that, but you have to remember it's the return that you get. So even if you can only buy one of these, compared to buying, I think Render's like $3, whatever it is, you buy 100 Render. It's not about the price, it's about like what that coin does. Okay, so if BitTensor Tau dibbles, for example, you make a 2x, but Render only, goes up to like, I don't know, 1.5x. You might have bought more Render coins, but BitTensor Tau will beat it in return. So just keep that in mind. The next one is Cronus, and the reason I wanted to put Cronus on this list, or Crypto.com, the platform, is just because of maybe a better hedge against BNB. It's give or take, what is that, like a 30x smaller than 150 billion, which is Binance. It's obviously not got as much action, but the returns in here could be massive like we've seen in 2021. They've got a lot of cash. They bought the Stable Center. They got a lot of sponsors in Formula One. And yeah, could be a good hedge against Binance, but obviously it's not as safe, if that makes sense. Ondo's a big one. BlackRock, obviously the biggest kind of holders, trillions of dollars. And stocks, crypto, everywhere, right? Not one I personally hold, just because I think there's better returns. But again, this coin is starting to bleed right now, and you're almost going to see prices of sub 70 cents, which could be juicy buys if you guys are interested in this. Small market cap, 2.29 compared to your BNBs, your Ethereums, your Solanas, your even Suis. So there's that. But this is kind of going under its own kind of term. And again, I always ask myself when looking at this coin, and if somebody asks me, should I buy this? is, do you think BlackRock are here to lose money? The answer would be no. And they've got a lot of money in Ondo. So just keep that in mind. That's what I'll look at going forward. The next one is Avalanche, AVAX. Wasn't interested in this one for a while. Went and looked back to the 2021 bull run. Not that I wasn't interested. It's just because I had similar coins like Solana, for example. It's way bigger market cap. But I had HBAR, SUI that were similar market caps to this. Top kind of 15, 20 kind of coins, 25 coins, whatever. And I kind of overlooked Avalanche or AVAX. But the reason I have a lot of Avalanche now is because the pools are crazy on Avalanche. Like, for example, you can do an AVAX USDC pool and get more than 10% on a pretty wide range at 18%. You can even do wrapped AVAX and Bitcoin pool, and you can bump up this width, and you're still making over 10% per month. So that's the reason why I have AVAX. Number one is because we're a long way off, like a 5 or 6x the 2021 bull run, but just the fees are paying so good on asset to asset. So just keep that in mind. And just to sign this off, if you want to learn how to monetize your assets like AVAX, like Ethereum, like Bitcoin, like XRP, and pretty much all of your portfolio, we do have a free call spot still open up. We've done a lot of calls in the last couple of days since I've been back on this channel. And we still have some free calls. If you are interested in that and monetizing your assets, book a free call. If not, those are my kind of top 15, kind of 20 coins. Not some crazy coins in here, but I think these are positioned to do well if we do get that bull run. Peace and take care, and I'll see you in the next video.